Hello everybody, my name's Jude and this is Lammy and together we are Little Lamb Tales. Welcome to the second one of our Christmas specials where you get two stories. If you like the story, remember you can follow us on Twitter or tell your friends about us on Facebook. Here we go. The first story I'm going to tell is about a penguin. Lammy likes penguins. And this is the story of Peppy and it's based on a story by Susie Jenkin-Pearce. Here we go. In a zoo there lived a penguin called Peppy. And Peppy wasn't really very happy living in the zoo. He didn't know why, but he just knew he wasn't happy. One day a little boy came along with his soft toy and he had a little toy and it was called Poppy. But the little boy was a bit careless and dropped Poppy into the penguins and she tumbled down and landed next to Peppy. And Peppy looked and said, "Oh, hello. What are you doing here?" She said, "Well, my little boy, I don't think he loves me very much. I was given to him by Father Christmas last year." "Who's Father Christmas?" said Peppy. "Oh, he's amazing. He lives in the North Pole where there's ice and it's cold and there's polar bears." "Wow, that sounds amazing," said Peppy. "I think I'd like to go there." And the more he thought about the snow and the ice, the more he thought, that's where I belong. And so he and Poppy decided they would escape and travel to the North Pole. "I think we should fly," said Peppy. He'd been in the zoo for so long he'd forgotten that penguins can't fly. And so he worked out and he tried to make his wings nice and strong, but of course it didn't work. "I know," said Poppy. "We'll get in the bucket full of the fish, and when they take us down to the sea to throw it back in, we'll swim over to the North Pole." "Brilliant, that's a great idea," said Peppy. "Let's go." So they climbed in the bucket and waited for the zookeeper to take the bucket down to the water. And when they got there, they looked around. They thought, that great big boat, that looks like it might be going somewhere. Let's ask the seagulls. "Hey, seagull, where's that big boat going?" "Oh, it's going the North Pole, mate. If you get on quick, they're just about to leave." "Quick," said Peppy, and him and Poppy went on board. And for 3 days they sailed over the ocean, backwards and forwards, and their tummies went up and down. And then they looked out the porthole and they saw ice and snow. "I know I'm meant to be here," said Peppy. "I can feel it in my feathers." And as they arrived, they swam to shore. "Right," said Poppy, "I'm going to go now because I need to go and find Father Christmas because I'm hoping this year he might actually give me to somebody who really loves me and looks after me. It's been so lovely to meet you and best of luck." And off Poppy waddled. Peppy looked around and thought, I do like it here. I need to go and find somewhere to stay. And he wandered off and he bumped into 2 polar bears. He said, "Hello, friends. How are you?" And the polar bears looked at him and said, "What on earth are you?" "Well, I'm a penguin," he said. "I've come to live in the snow and the ice with you and with Father Christmas." The polar bear said, "Well, we've never seen anything like you before. We don't think you're meant to be here." And off they wandered. Poor Peppy was feeling quite upset. Just then he looked up because he could hear jingle bells. And there in a sleigh was Father Christmas. Next to him was Poppy. And they swooped down. Father Christmas said, "Peppy, you are meant to live in the snow and the ice, but this is the North Pole. You are meant to be in the South Pole. Come on, hop aboard and I'll take you." And so they got on board and off they set through the cold, cold night. And as they flew over the zoo, Peppy looked down and said, "Oh, I wish we could take everybody else with us. Then we'd all be together." "Not a problem," said Father Christmas. "It's Christmas Eve and the night when wishes come true." And with that he swept down with the sleigh and he called all the other penguins to come and join him. And off they set. And eventually they swooped down into the South Pole and the place where all the other penguins were. And Peppy couldn't believe it. He said, "This is it. This is where we're meant to be." And he jumped out of the sleigh with all the other penguins. And Father Christmas gave them all a present, a lovely warm hat and a scarf. And then he turned to Poppy and he said, "I'm going to leave you here too, because I believe that you really have found somebody who loves you." And with that, he got in his sleigh and off he went. And Peppy and Poppy and all of the other penguins had a lovely time, and they lived happily ever after. The end. Well done. Thank you for listening so much. Now, Lammy, we've got another story now, haven't we? You might know how this one ends. We'll see how we get on. Long, long ago, on a cold, cold night in a place called Bethlehem, there was a very busy innkeeper and his wife. They'd been run off their feet all day long because so many people were coming to the town for the census. They didn't have any room left in their inn. In fact, they'd even had to put one couple in the stable, and they just sat down to have a good cup of tea when there was a knock on the door. "Oh, who on earth's that?" said the innkeeper. "We've just sat down." And off he went to the door. And when he opened it, outside was a group of shepherds. And the shepherd said, "Oh, sorry to disturb you. We don't need a room, but the angels have sent us. They told us there's somebody we need to see in the stable." "How did you know I've got somebody in the stable?" said the innkeeper. "Oh, the angels told us." "Well, it's round the back. You better go there. Don't be disturbing me now." And with that, he shut the door. He poddled back through to his wife and he said, "I don't know why, but there's some shepherds. They wanted to go round to the stable." "Oh, well, don't worry about it now, dear," she said. "Come on, let's sit down and have our cup of tea." And so they sat down, and there was another knock at the door. "Oh, goodness me," said the innkeeper. "Who on earth is that now?" And off they went to the innkeeper, to the door. When they got there was a whole host of angels. What on earth, what do you want?" said the innkeeper. He was a bit disturbed. He'd never seen angels before. "Nothing to worry about," said the angels. "We've just come to see the new baby in the stable." "Not more people to visit my stable," said the innkeeper. "Well, it's round the back." And off the angels went as well. The innkeeper came back through and he said to his wife, "Something very strange is going on. There's a load of angels just arrived and they wanted to go to the stable. I've sent them round the back too." "Angels?" said his wife. "I think you're seeing things. You need to sit down and get some food inside you. I'll bring you a bowl of stew." And as she came over with the stew, it looked tasty and yummy, and the innkeeper thought, "Oh, lovely stew." And just then, there was another knock on the door. "Oh, my goodness me! Who on earth can that be now?" said the innkeeper. And with that, he went over to the door and he pulled it open. "I don't believe it," he said. Outside his own little inn, where nobody special had ever stayed before, there were not one, not two, but 3 kings on their camels. "Sorry to disturb you," they said, "but we've come to see the baby." Yes, I know. He's in the stable round the back." And so he closed the door and he came back and he said, "There's definitely something going on now. You'll never believe who's at the door now. 3 kings, and they wanted to go round to our dirty old stable too." "No, there must be a mistake," said his wife. "You still need to eat. Get it down, you." So they sat down and they ate their dinner. Just then there was another knock on the door. "Oh, no," said the innkeeper. "That's it. I've had enough now. If that's one more person to go round to the back, I swear they'll be having a party. I'm not having it. It's going to make too much noise. It'll keep us awake all night." And he opened the door. There was nobody there. "Oh, that's it," he said. "I'm going round to tell them this is not on. They'll have to leave, baby or no baby." And him and his wife went out of the inn, round the back to the stable. They were not happy until they saw what was inside the stable. And as they crept in, they saw lying on the hay a beautiful baby boy with his mother and father and the donkey, and the shepherds on one side and the kings on the other, and the angels hovering around behind. And the innkeeper and his wife looked at the baby. They said, "Oh, he's beautiful." And the angel said, "Yes, this is your new king." And the innkeeper and his wife looked at each other, said, "You can stay as long as you like. We'll never forget this night. Thank you so much for coming to stay in our stable." The end. And that's a story by Roger Parsley. I hope you enjoyed that. We enjoyed that one, didn't we, Lammy? And hopefully you'll join us next week when we'll have 2 more Christmas stories. I wonder what they'll be about. Bye.